beautiful spring day. It's just nice enough that even Ronin here has settled down to relax in the afternoon. And I thought it'd be a fitting time to talk about spirit animals, power animals, however you would like. Animal totems, sometimes called as well. The importance of working with animal totems, before we get into what they are, or nuances and whatnot, is, for me, on a spiritual path and looking at higher-minded ideals and morals and ethical guidance and transcendent experiences, it's often our human selves that get left behind, and not simply the egos and identities we have created, but even our more basic animalistic primal selves. And so, one solution for that, and is sometimes a humble sort of way, is to go, well, I'm just an ape, I'm just basically barely more than a monkey. And you could look at yourself like that, like some primate. But the beauty of animal totems is that instead of just being primates, we're not all just primates, except for, literally in the biological sense. But spiritually, we have these nuances of behaviors that resemble different animals and showcase our different strategies of ways of navigating the world. What works for a lion totem person will not work for someone who has like a meerkat totem, or someone who has a gorilla totem is going to work in the world in a different way than someone with a more sleek sort of jaguar or panther. So getting in touch with your animal totem helps you feel more of yourself, feel more resonant in your own uniqueness in a very grounded way, because these are animals we can see and watch and mimic that interact in the physical world just like us. So sometimes they talk about divine persona, or, divine persona is probably right, and all those qualities, but also getting in touch with our animal persona and the animals we resonate with can really help bring balance to our lives and really help ground us in, those type of characters that we respect and appreciate, like, she's such a fox, or, he's a snake. And they embody their animal selves, so they're memorable and they have presence because they haven't tried to run or distance themselves from that. So now, what are animal totems even, though? I've just described the relationship we can have with them and their importance, but their actual spiritual essence or reality, that's something that you get to explore for yourself. And that may sound like a cop-out, but I don't like on this channel to make absolute claims like, angels exist, or, spirit totems have physical reality, or whatnot. Because in some schools of thought, in some paths, they may just be manifestations of the mind. And I'm not here to prove one way or the other, because I don't know if it can be. So the point is, you can get in touch with your animal totems based on your particular inclinations of, if you see them as having reality, or whether you just see them as part of your mind or something you like. Really in childhood is the best place to start. When we're children, we have this fascination with different animals and appreciation for them that's really based on emotional valuing, that's more pure to our spirit, to our inner self, than after we accumulate all this, adult ego persona and responsibilities, and maybe we like lions because we've developed an ambition to lead, whereas when we were a kid, we, perhaps we just had a real deep fascination with penguins. We did a project on penguins, for instance. And ironically, the emperor penguin, you could see that as a different kind of leader, but that is important. It's like, well, if someone's drawn to leadership, they're like, oh, well, I want to be the best. So they look at lion totems and they want to take that on. Whereas their emperor penguin, their actual way of leading, might be much different in style. And that brings me to an important point where no matter how you think of totems in their reality, they choose us more than we choose them. That's important. You know, these are inborn sort of resonances that we have to respect and work with, rather than try to, shape shift into something that really isn't aligned with our nature. Now, you can play with all sorts of things, like you can imagine yourself as a lion, even if you don't have resonance with that totem, but it doesn't seem to last, you know. It would only last for as long as you maintain that concentration, instead of staying true to what would be more natural, a natural animal for your nature and makeup. So, that said, I want to I could talk at great length for this. You could be a whole podcast on animal totems. But the important thing is to give you one takeaway exercise to try. And this is just the simplest visualization from Ted Andrews, who does the whole dictionary on animal totems, which is worth looking into if this sort of thing piques your interest. And you get into a relaxed state, you know, you sit out in nature's best for relaxing, I find. And you just let everything else go. And in that space, you start to visualize yourself in a natural setting. And that instruction is very specific. You know, I'm not going to tell you what or give you any ideas about a natural setting, just the first one that comes to mind. And in that setting, you know, if an animal appears to you as you deepen into your stillness and relaxation, that could be a great way to start building a relationship with that animal. So that's a practical exercise you could try, play with. Or like I said, you can look into your childhood and reflect back on animals you've always had a deep appreciation with. And then start to research why. Like, what are the qualities? What are the deeper philosophical significance of that animal that holds your attention, that generates your value? And you can start to see those qualities in yourself and work with how that animal is working with you. So, again, I hope this was useful, and I will see you in another video.